is the true genius of America. A faith in simple dreams. An insistence on small miracles. That we can say what we think, write what we think without hearing a sudden knock on the door.
A sudden knock on the door or a sudden strike from YouTube. It's all the same shit. Welcome, Juice Heads out there to episode 13.
Shit, my bad.
Sorry. We have some unprofessional feedback over there from the professional.
Nah, that was me. I'm on my YouTube, just making sure we're working. So
it's all good. It's all
I'm
good.
muted, bro. It's all good.
That's what we refer to as the gratuitous YouTube check. We all do it. It happens. And we got a treat for you guys tonight. We got Fat Jew, we got Angry Steve, and we might even have another guest or two. What's going on, guys?
What's happening, Juice?
Just another week in the life, living the dream.
He's back to the jail cell.
Back to the jail
back
cell.
in Jersey.
And yeah, YouTube actually gave me another strike for allegedly giving fake information about the vaccine on a show from like 2 months ago where we didn't even talk about the vaccine. So, and speaking of our special guest, there you have it. YouTube sensation Static. What's up,
in
brother?
the house?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
What's up, buddy?
Not much here. Enjoying my day.
There you go.
You might get a kick out of my last video. I went after 3 at the same time.
I haven't seen it. I've tried. I locked off
because I speak consciously, and the other one had a little fucking clan meeting. So I
saw
that. I made fun of it.
That's the one that they're clapping.
Yeah, but I took a piece of that and I just did my own little spin on it. We'll see. I'm probably gonna get either my account's gonna get taken down, or they're gonna fucking spin it around somehow.
Yeah, we're being targeted. That's for sure. I lasted what? Off of my 100+ K account got banned. I lasted like 60 something hours. Then that got banned. Then I created another one. That one lasted, I think it was like 16 hours. And I had to create another one today. It's berserk.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, Static. I was just saying before you jumped on, I had a video we did a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. It was a debate show. I don't even think the Fat Jew was on it. He might have came on after the debate part. But
okay.
I got a YouTube strike for allegedly giving misleading information about the vaccine. And I went back and I listened to the audio version of the show, which is the same feed. And we didn't even say the word vaccine once on the whole fucking show. And
what the fuck?
And I got a strike on YouTube.
That's crazy. I just decided to start uploading my shit on YouTube. I wanted to make them like an actual epilogue.
Well, I mean, luckily there's also Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey, but the problem is they're just nowhere near the level of YouTube.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You kind of want to be seen,
Right.
You want to be seen. You want people to know that what people are saying is a lie. So.
And I appealed the strike, and they rejected the appeal. And I said in the appeal, you have like 1,000 characters to write make your statement. I said, I went back and watched this. We didn't even say the word vaccine. So how can we get pulled for giving fake information about the vaccine? And they rejected the appeal. So it's just, there's no more First Amendment. It's just, it's a thing of the past.
No, because they control what gets seen and what doesn't. That's like that guy who talks about the V word. He goes, he's Canadian, I think he is. They put him on the no-fly list. They fucking they keep him from getting into hotels and shit. Something Clay, I think.
I forgot his name. Yeah,
he's got tattoos on his neck and shit. They're trying to shut him down like nobody's business because he's telling everybody, all you got to do to end it is say no and take it off and be done with it.
We saw this happening.
Stopped, it would be over.
We saw this started to happen during the Obama administration when they were trying to make all these little laws. You remember when people were fighting those border patrols because they were putting border patrols like 10 mile inland, and people were filming the border patrol. Oh, you're a U.S. citizen. You guys remember that? Yeah, they were trying to remove all that stuff off of YouTube and silence people that they couldn't talk politics. It's already been like 10 years of this. This is the outcome of all that. This is why now it's so easy for them to just fuck it, delete the video, give them a strike.
And
They've
what
been
you're
having-
talking about is like 4 to 5 years before Trump even ever went down the escalator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually way beyond. Yeah, definitely way beyond that. Yeah,
This went back to Bush's days.
It did. It did.
He started banning the online poker.
yeah. When
Because of 9/11, right? He banned.
yes, it was the whole 9/11 stuff. Yeah,
Right. So that's what they used. They used 9/11 to ban online poker and the start of the censorship of the internet.
Hey, Steve,
controlled
your
by the
volume
government.
sounds a little low. I don't know if you need to talk louder or put your face closer to the mic.
Can you hear me better
Nah,
now?
that's better. That's a lot better. Yeah.
Okay, so this went back to the Bush administration when he banned online poker and blamed it on the 9/11. That online poker was funding terrorism. So he started the censorship of the internet that anybody can see.
I
You see
remember.
what's going on in Canada right now? They're like
Yeah,
sending.
I heard,
fucking
I heard the province of Ontario is basically a communist state right now.
It's crazy.
I have a
bro.
friend who I play games with, and I haven't been able to contact him. I haven't been able to contact him for like 3 days now.
What
Because their
in the
phones are
fuck?
down.
I
They
haven't.
shut
It's
their
crazy.
fucking service down. It's fucking insane, bro. They're stopping people from telling people what the fuck is going on. That's how sick these people are.
It's total chaos, man.
Well, it's total
It's,
control.
these people are way out of line, and only the people in the left are really responsible for this because they co-sign this behavior. They follow through.
Yeah, they're
you know,
okay with it. They're okay with being controlled. They're okay with
They
being told
follow
what to
through.
do.
Did you
You know?
the latest today is that they issued a warning that they're raising about 80% of the foreign countries into a level 4 travel alert, effectively banning travel again, right? Or they're going to start banning travel again, and including all these islands like Turks and Caicos, where my parents are on vacation right now. They're going to upgrade to a level 4 alert. That's the same travel alert that there is going to North Korea or Iraq.
Jesus
Let
Christ.
me ask a quick question. This whole travel ban stuff, does it allow Muslims? Does it ban Muslims from coming into the United States?
It's banning American citizens from traveling outside of the United States.
So people could travel in regardless.
Well, people can travel in regardless.
They already caught like known terrorists at the fucking border trying to come in from the southern border. They caught like fucking 10 or 11 people who were on like the fucking wanted list and shit. What do you
Wow,
think?
wow, good job, FBI.
I'm saying because these paperworks look so easy to fucking falsify, and these guys can falsify. They're literally Jason Bourne.
Yeah, because you
You
come
know?
through the southern border, you come up with a fucking name. They don't fucking know who you are. They don't know where you're coming from. You
No,
say whatever
no,
the
I've-
fuck you want.
What I recall an article, man. I'm just gonna say it, even though it sounds I don't have really no way of backing it up. I remember reading an article. I think it was like in 2004. They had caught this guy in the border who was a known terrorist, seen on videos decapitating people, and he came in with a Spanish last name. The guy
I'm not
looked
shocked.
Mexican and everything. Like, you know, he kind of had like a Mexican look to him and stuff. He could have passed by for Mexican. I recall that, man. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Me and my friends were laughing about it. We're like, oh shit, we're terrorists now. We fucking, yeah. You know, it's fucking.
the guy that was part of ISIS.
He was part of ISIS. Yeah. He came out on videos. When he came into the United States, he came in with a Spanish last name.
Yeah,
That
because he
shit
bought
is
that
crazy,
passport.
man.
He bought that passport for $2,000.
It's fucking berserk. So these guys are literally Jason Bourne. You're gonna tell me they can't falsify or fake any type of document to make it seem like, you know?
Mhm.
But now we got the government that's going to shut us down again. Now, no.
Yeah, this is crazy. They're talking also of sending another stimulus. You know that out of the 4 or 5,000 million stimulus they've sent out, I've only received one.
Same here.
I never got my 2020 stimulus till a couple weeks ago.
I'm getting
That's-
mine back on my taxes. The second one I'm getting back on my taxes. The third I'll probably see next time I do my taxes.
It's
They don't
crazy.
want
I'm
people to
stimulus
work.
exempt.
They don't want people to work because they want people to rely on them. If they have people relying on them where people don't have to go to work, they'll say, okay, I'll stay home, keep paying me, I'll keep my fucking face diaper on, and that's it. You have another
Facts.
fucking sheep in the herd. It's that simple.
Well, we talked
Facts.
about it. We talked about the stimulus and how people won't go to work in Atlantic City and everywhere else.
Even when we
Damn,
were in
that sucks.
Florida,
Thank
when
you for
you-
telling me that. I wanted to go to Atlantic City.
Listen, in Atlantic City, I just went back. I just got back, right? I went a week ago. Me and my wife are fully vaccinated. Obviously, my kids are not, right? They're young. They're like 10 and 6. So we went down
Bless
there.
'em.
Right. So we went down there for the week, right? We did a couple boardwalks, but we did Atlantic City. We stayed over, came back. Day 5, my oldest daughter has COVID. She tested positive. So
Okay.
that was maybe slightly bad parenting decisions, taking my kids all over New Jersey, still in the middle of a pandemic. But she got COVID. She tested positive. She had a runny nose, a stuffy nose, and she was whiny. And then she had like a little bit of she was a little bit like not feeling good, right? Stomach ache and everything else, and headache. And today she's feeling better.
Good.
Yeah, so she's built like a brick. She beating the shit out of that COVID right now. That COVID regretting it.
Yeah. So basically, it's no worse than a normal cold so far. So we'll keep my fingers crossed over here.
Yeah, but did you hear now apparently that anybody's eligible, and they were doing a trial on children, and these people like gladly had their kids be fucking that shit drives me crazy. I'm sorry. Like, you're gonna just volunteer your kids to take just to see what happens. I mean, come on, dude.
Listen, they people pregnant took this vaccine, and what do you get? You get a check for $700 to get an untested drug.
Guys, just remember, tread lightly on this topic because I don't want
no,
another
but I'm
strike.
speaking the truth.
Yes, because we just finished getting.
It doesn't even matter if you speak the truth or not. You know what I mean?
Listen, you get
Yeah, because if they hear the
$700.
word, that's all they care about.
Right, you get $700 to participate in a clinical trial where you're pregnant and you get vaccinated,
That shit is
Or-
so fucked up.
or you send your 12-year-old online to go get it. They get about $700 is the going rate. So just think what you sold your soul for. Thank you.
You want to hear a
Josh,
fun
for-
fact I heard today? Speaking of
Yeah.
pregnancy, I want to get off the topic a little bit because I don't want Juice to get shut down. So I think back in the day, 12 million people were sold into slavery. Since then,
Yeah, I
more
think it was
people-
almost 13 million. It was like 12.7, 12.7,
whatever it
some
is,
shit like that.
Is this
that
Atlantic
number-
slave trade or is this like worldwide stuff?
This is like back when-
This
when
Atlantic
everybody was
Atlantic when they came in through the boats, Virginia Land Company type shit.
Right. So you take that number, 13, you could even say 14 million. From then until now, more black women have aborted black babies than there were slaves sold in the United States.
How many have been aborted?
Oh, it's probably upwards of 15 to 20.
A year.
That's
No,
that's
not
disgusting.
a year.
No, in
It's-
total.
In total, I don't know the exact number.
The
but all I know,
the problem that's totally different though, because you see, slaves weren't killed. Slaves weren't killed. If 15,
Exactly.
if 12 million, if almost roughly, 13 million people were brought in as slaves, and you have 15 million dead, that's good comparison of numbers, but not good comparison of catastrophe. The murders that's disgusting.
right.
And this is only since the 70s, right?
The problem, I don't no, I think from the 1500s, 1462 is what the numbers start
Oh, no,
off
I'm
at.
talking about the abortion number.
Oh, I think, oh no, yeah, that has to be recent, because now it's that they started doing abortions. Back in the 60s was when they started doing abortions. Prior to that, they weren't doing abortions. It was frowned upon. If you had a kid, you left them at a church, or
Right.
Right.
And again, I'm
Dude,
not a
put me-
woman.
put
I don't
me
have to carry
backstage.
the
I
kid
gotta
for
take
9
my
months.
dog outside.
That's a bad. That's bad. The
Put me
problem with
backstage,
me.
Juice. I got to take my dog out.
All right. The problem with me is that how many Black Americans are there?
That's a good question. What, 30 million maybe?
And then you have the way they kill them. They're killing themselves at the moment.
blacks are what, like 10% of the population, maybe a little less.
That's crazy. I think it's 13. But what's crazy is that when I was younger, they were 15% of the population. Back in 1964, I think there were 17 or 18% of the population. The numbers are fucking dwindling.
Wow.
I'm about to Google that. Where's my
42 million. There was
42 million?
37,144 non-Hispanic blacks. But when you count the Hispanic population, it increased to 42 million.
And the thing is, percentage-wise, this is also a disproportionate number in terms of percent, in terms of ethnicities and races having abortions, because they only make up so much of the population, and they're having by far the majority of the abortions.
They keep saying that they're gonna disappear white people by mixing in, and I keep telling them that's impossible. You get lighter, you don't get darker, and those numbers are gonna disappear. They're eventually gonna disappear if this continues. This behavior continues, they're gonna disappear. 42 million, that's nothing
That's
to
genocide.
8 billion.
Fucking
Right, that's genocide.
No, that's comparing.
Eight-
So
Steve, we're having volume issues, bro.
But that's comparing Latinos. Let's say I'm trying to be courteous to their numbers,
Right.
because in reality, even if it was 20 or 15 million or 28 million, that's still a low number to a nation with 8 billion citizens,
no.
isn't it? It's 8 billion
No,
citizens.
there's 320 million people in the U.S.
That's okay. So they're
So there's
Then-
234 million white people to 42 million black people, and the balance of other nationalities.
correct. So it's a still staggering number. It's still looking like we're disappearing.
It's very,
You know,
it's very
the-
disproportionate.
yeah, the abortions isn't helping. The murders isn't helping. The action that causes us to get incarcerating isn't helping. So
When are people going to open their fucking eyes? I mean, obviously,
this is crazy. Till he didn't give me those numbers of the slavery and the abortions, it really didn't hit me. We're fucking disappearing. I don't think anybody's fucking noticed this. We're fucking disappearing. This is nuts.
and the numbers and those numbers you mentioned when it was at 18%, that was only decades ago. So that's a fucking really crazy rate if you think about it.
That's fucking berserk. It's just crazy.
And of all these pro fucking choice people, no one talks about this. But we're the racists. We're the racists because we lean right of center.
Only blacks from that have cultural backgrounds and stuff, like how they feel, like Africans and Jamaicans are going to be the only ones left. You know, like what's African American? It seems like it's just dwindling. Even with numbers from outsiders, they still look low.
Right. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I mean, I've heard that like people that are legitimately from Africa, they hate that term African American because
Yeah.
it's like, no, you're just American American.
Exactly. Even in the Dominican Republic, when you tell people, where are you? They're like American. They're like, where in America? They're like, oh, Quisqueya, or or
Okay.
Dominican Republic.
So the facts are 12.5 million Africans were shipped to the New World. 10.7 million survived. So 10.7 African Americans survived.
So only like two, to be safe, we say 3 million died.
Right. So 10 million, right? Went from 10 million now to 42 million in that many years. Since they abolished slavery in 1897. Help me, Google.
Yeah, but we've been reproducing since before that, though. You understand?
But I'm saying since 1897.
1862. What wasn't it? 1862.
Maybe it was 1862, whatever Drew says, right? Is when
Hey, we might get a strike for any sort of fake information now. So you
right,
never.
whenever,
We're not historians, though.
well, whenever slavery was outlawed, right?
Mhm.
Right, then that's since then when you went from 10 million to 42 million.
Did you guys know that northern states had slaves too? So it's like there's so much more to the
Yeah.
Civil War than like they let
You
on.
should Google where the largest lynching took place. A lot of people will have a heart attack if they knew it was in New York City.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
And it was recent too. I think it was like maybe 100 years ago.
So it was in the 20th century.
I believe so. I might be wrong, but
That's
the
fucked
large,
up. That's really
yeah.
to think, because my grandfather was born almost 100 years ago. So like in my grandfather's lifetime, something like that happened.
I've read somewhere that Mount Vernon once was a farm.
Yeah,
Mount Vernon, New York, used to be once a farm.
Yeah, Mount Vernon was a farm, but it says the largest lynching was March 14th, 1891 in New Orleans, where 11
Okay.
Italian Americans were
Hung.
hung. Yeah,
Wow.
That's
Look,
crazy. Now
my
that's good. That's good ammo right there to have.
that's the Google. That's what the Google says.
I'm gonna have to grab my
What
phone.
the
I want to
Google
know what.
machine says?
Oh, there's my phone. Yeah, nah, no, I try to believe Google. I mean, I try to give them benefit of the doubt that they do their due diligence.
Right.
I'm more of a DuckDuckGo guy.
I can't say what I use.
I hear you. All I'm saying is
I use something I'm not. I'm supposed to. I use something I'm not supposed to be using.
Well, that's all you need to say.
Yeah, man, this weekend was a nice fucking turnout. It was pretty fucking nice. A lot of supporters. So
Nice.
now it seems like everybody's saying, like, shit's hitting the fan. So they're saying like just find yourself a well-regulated, just have like a contained few in your neighborhood, in your area, or whatever. So it's fucking crazy what's going on, man.
It's funny. I was just at this event, Trumparilla. All these Trump supporters in the boats with the flags and everything, where it's like almost normal to be a Trump supporter. Then I come back home to Jersey yesterday, and it's right back to Tinder. If you're a Trump supporter, don't even swipe right. Don't even try. If you're a Trump supporter. It's like, first of all, get over it, right? I mean, how long are you gonna keep that in your fucking profile? The guy's been out of office for what, 3 months now? 4 months?
He has rented free space in every single one of these motherfuckers' minds.
It's like, man, he's living rent-free in a lot of people's heads.
If he made money off the fucking rent he was in with people's heads, forget about it. He would be a fucking multi-billionaire.
Right. He wouldn't just have 4 or 5 billion. He'd have trillion.
Right. He'd have fucking 20.
So how was Roger Stone?
He's awesome. He really, and like in person, he actually looks like he stands out in person. Like he almost looks like a cartoon character in real life.
Okay.
Like he stands out of a crowd. Like there's a reason why that guy is where he is in terms of like stature and status and whatever, and why he's been successful in the politics game. He just gets it. He's like, talk about like 4D chess. Like he's the guy that like runs that fucking game of 4D, 5D chess.
Nice. So
He's a pretty chill motherfucker.
Would you say that the open bar was worth the $125, or was it?
Oh, yeah.
More than that?
And I definitely got my money's worth for sure.
So you got your money's worth twice. You enjoyed it, and you got your liquor.
Right. And I got to talk to Roger Stone.
Bro,
and everybody there was pretty cool. So like you met a
I
bunch
got
of cool
so
people.
fucking drunk, I was seeing triple, bro. Forget double. I was seeing triple.
Nice.
I haven't been that drunk in a while.
It was a great time. It was a
Nice.
great
Now,
time.
Juice, do you want to talk about the tribute, or do we not bring that up?
What tribute?
The thing that you got.
Oh, I mean, it showed up on camera.
It's called.
It showed up on
It's called the Great Lynching, and it's called the Great Lynching of 1863 in New York.
Oh, it was 1863 in New York. Okay.
That was the one I was speaking of. My apologies.
No problem.
But thank you for the ammo. I might use that Italian shit later on.
No problem.
That's when they're like, "Oh, we was getting lynched." I'm like, "Look, this is pretty appealing."
Hey,
Fun
Static,
fact of the day.
Listen,
I got a question for you.
Hold on, Simon. One thing, real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
That back in the day, the Italians were treated terribly.
Yeah, you don't got to tell me.
So were the Irish. So were the Irish.
Yeah.
So were the Chinese.
Anything that didn't come from England. That's what most people don't understand. They think it's a white thing, but it wasn't. It was just that few hundred people that came. They were really the oppressors.
So the
Everybody else was eating a turd.
Right. So the moral of the story is there's always been racism in the country, and it's not always. It's been against everybody, every race.
Yes. Yes. That's a fact.
And it's a terrible thing. That all needs to be fixed in general.
Times have changed, though. Times have changed a lot. Times have changed a lot.
Static. I got this guy that's been a fucking itch on my balls for a while. Okay, he's an
Okay.
idiot,
I can verify this. I've seen
but he's fucking so easy bait that you would just have so much fun with him.
Who's this?
He's a fucking moron. He's a
Can I
nurse.
put
He
him on
thinks
real
he
quick?
fucking knows everything. He's one of those pain in the asses where it's just you would just fucking demolish him. And if you could do that, I would love it.
Who's this? Who's this?
I've already given up on him.
it's just some loser on TikTok that's obsessed with the fat Jew.
Yeah, he's like he crawled up
Oh,
my
it's
ass
that
with
guy that was eating a sandwich the other day on
Yeah.
one of your videos?
Yeah.
I left him a comment on my old account. He blocked me, so in this new account, I'm not blocked.
Get
But
him.
he
Bro,
was
you're
eating
fucking-
he was eating a sandwich, and I said, "You actually took your time and are so triggered to let him know you don't care while you're eating your sandwich. You're giving yourself heartburn for no reason."
Bro, the guy's a fucking moron.
Has he bought you flowers yet?
What?
Has he bought you flowers and chocolate yet?
No, I'm waiting for the knock on my
saying.
door, but nobody's ever knocked on my door. I doubt anybody will.
Be
He was
careful.
No, I
obsessed
don't
with me,
think-
bro. Like the first fucking 6 videos he made all had my face in it. I think he loves me or something.
That's what I
He
said.
ha-
I said, listen, he's going to show up at your door. You're going to be in your skimpies in your bedroom, and he's going to be peeping through your blinds.
He has the same
But the problem is
personality.
he's afraid to leave the house because of COVID, so he ain't leaving the house.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I was going through his epilogue. He has the same facial personality as RC Dubs. Like they get triggered, like this micro aggressive hamster inside just starts combating the other micro aggressive hamster in there, and they're like, and then they speak, and I'm like, yo, there's something wrong. Like I've seen that Twitch, like that must. If I was a psychologist, I'd be making trillions right now just on TikTok. Be like, hey, you should come see me.
But all the
Berserk,
girls that
man.
are half naked,
People
daddy
crack me up.
issues.
If I told you the amount of girls that were sending me shit, then they'll get mad. They're like, "Oh, you got a girl? Nah. Oh, you live in the city? Maybe we can have a drink." I don't know. I kind of like the single life. I'm not
advantage
looking
of
for
that shit,
nobody
bro.
right
Just
now.
Just tell him you want to be
Nah,
single. That's
that's-
all.
Yeah,
They'll
I
lick your
just want to
balls
be
a little
single.
bit and then they'll go away.
Nah, it's difficult out here. These girls are they're a little crazy. They really are.
The girls in I want to say the greater tri-state area are not the greatest to choose from.
They're not.
For the most
That's I like Jersey girls.
Angry Steven Fat Jew met nice girls in this area, but that's not the
I mess mostly with Jersey girls.
yeah. That's mostly an anomaly to meet a nice girl up in this area.
The girls in the city, they're like sexy in a way, but they're like still hood inside, and that's kind of dangerous. Then you got the Jersey girls, they're like great in bed and snotty.
Yep.
So it's like a different give. I prefer the snottiness over the hood shit, you know what I mean? Because sometimes these girls, they'll be like blah 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 blah, and then I had this, to be exact. There was this girl I was dating not too long ago. She'll grab groceries and I'll try to help her. She's like, I got it. My guy. The next day, let me help you. I got it. And this shit continued like for a week. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to fucking reach no more for your bags or anything to help you. Within 2 days, this bitch was like, you're not going to offer to help me about bags. I'm like, yo, bro, didn't we just spend the whole fucking week trying to fucking convince you to let me hold your bags? Now I don't want to hold your bags. I just convinced myself for 3 days I don't want to hold your bags. Now I gotta go ahead and convince myself I want to hold your bags. Now fuck this shit. So I love the single life,
what's
bro.
that saying? What's that saying? There's an old saying, fool me fucking once.
I love the single life. Nah, they go. You ain't gonna get no photo pay.
The girls act like that, and then they go, "Where's chivalry? Whatever happened to chivalry?"
Yeah, and then they bitch, I can't find a good man. That's because you fucking brushed off every single one, you motherfucker.
The young ones want to scratch me off the list, and the old ones want to marry me, and I'd be like, no.
Listen, I've been with the same girl for 25 years. I got 2 kids. Let me tell you, if I could do it all over again, stay single.
I thought he was gonna say something else.
And you're saying that.
I was married.
Can your wife hear you right now, Steve? You might get in trouble, bro.
Don't worry. I'm sleeping outside tonight.
I was married. Had a girl and twins, boy girl, off my first marriage.
Nice.
We was young. I was 27. She was 22. I think it was 22, and I was still not out of my party phase. So I was just like, listen, kind of ain't working. And she was like, yeah, it ain't working. She's like, she's like, I fell in love visually. I was like, I get it. I looked like a husband, but I wasn't ready to be a husband. She wasn't ready to be a wife, but we raised the kids together. So we have no issues,
That's all that matters.
Well, like I said, 25 years in, man, every day is another struggle, another battle. It's just, if I was by myself, it'd just be easier.
I think so. Don't tell nobody. It is easier.
Don't tell nobody.
It is.
Honestly, I can't really complain too much. I'm pretty happy in my marriage. I'm not gonna lie.
I've learned strategies instead of staying in relationship, how to stay out of relationships or how to get rid of women in relationships. I'm not really the perfect guy for relationships.
You know how I get rid of a woman? I tell her I watch wrestling. That's it. Then they fucking.
I don't know. I think women will say they like anything once they like a guy.
Oh yeah, they'll agree with anything. If they like you, like on a deep level, they don't give a shit. They'll say they like something. Just like they fake with other things.
They'll fake the funk, yeah.
And true, I didn't say I wasn't happy, right? I just said if I could do it all over again.
You wouldn't go through it.
I wouldn't go through it, that's all.
When you're single, girls seem to want you a lot more, which is crazy. Like they know you're single. Like when I go get my baseball caps, there's these 2 girls and they're always fighting each other. The other day, one of them, she's like, oh, you want my Instagram number? I was like, no, I want to pay for the hat. She's my Instagram, right? And her number. I'm like, nah, I just want to pay for the hat. She was young too. She was, I want to say about 24, 25. Nice. She was nice. I was like, nah, I just want to pay for the hat. How much is the hat? She's like, oh, $75. I said, shit, if you give me the Instagram number and the phone number, would you give me a discount? She goes, no, but
$75
yo, 70. Yeah, I buy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I buy customized hats. Like none of my hats are doubled. Like this hat, you won't get it in this type of gray. It's hard to get this gray.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get this gray, you get it with a black signal. The black and white is rare. So that place sells like rare baseball caps. So she's like, no, just take my Instagram. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. What's your name? And I totally forgot when I came out the store. I totally forgot about this chick, right? I show up like 2 months later because I try not to buy a cap all the time because that's a fucking heavy hit. I go buy another hat and then I show up. Yeah, because you can get a regular baseball cap for like $50, 35. You know what I mean? But they have special colors and they make like the one that says I love TOTO. I just bought a orange one the other day that has the Bronx logo on the side and the train on the other side. So that's like what they do. They kind of like embroider, make it look cooler. So I show up. I totally forgot about this chick. I go in and then she comes in and she's like, oh, I almost got hit by you. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I was just crossing the street and I almost got hit by a car. I'm like, why weren't you paying attention to the cars? She's like, because I was paying attention to you. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is all this fast shit, bro? Like, when I have a girl, they fucking dodge me like the fucking plague. And I'm looking to get rid of the girl I'm with for another girl. And you motherfuckers ain't nowhere. Now I don't want to be with nobody. You motherfuckers be like, yo, I got a size 3 panty. Here's a size 5 panty. Like, bitch, calm the fuck down. Like, how the fuck you even know? It ain't women intuition. They definitely know I got like a 3-month rule. I got daughters, so I can't keep women around my daughters.
Jesus, there's another hataholic right over there. How much do you
Is
pay
that
for
a
hats?
how much do I pay for ass?
No, hats. Juice is a hataholic over there.
I was like, well, I don't know. That depends the girl. Sometimes they go for 75, 150.
100 a quarter.
Depends what you
no.
get, right?
I like the overnights more than I do the. I prefer the in calls or out calls. Nah, I don't know. I'm just from the streets, so I know all these terms.
Hey, I know them too somehow when I'm from the suburbs, right?
Yeah, we know those. You got to know the terms.
Is my mic
Fucking
not
not-
good tonight, Juice?
Cops are gonna come knocking on my door now.
It's what?
Like, you've been banned.
Is my volume?
You've been banned
good?
15 times.
Your volume's low for some reason. I'm not sure why.
I'm gonna join it back. I'm gonna leave and join it back.
All right.
You know what we should have done, Juice? I'm a dumbass. I just sold my 1911 today. We should have shot my 45. I have so much fucking 45 ammo. It's retarded.
Oh man.
I got rid of it because it only holds 8. 8 ain't gonna help me.
I haven't touched a gun since I moved to New York City. That's sad.
Dude, 8 is like the limit in New Jersey for like a magazine.
Yeah, it's stupid. And plus I like. Yeah, I got rid of it. I said, fuck that. I'd rather have 3 clips with 17 than 1 clip with 8.
So Static,
Mhm.
I don't know if you're aware. I was with Fat Jew all weekend down in the greater Tampa area. You haven't lived till you've been with 2 strangers on like a 5-acre piece of property in Florida shooting guns in the backyard.
You stay in Tampa?
Yes, sir.
I love Tampa.
You ever
I like-
down
I'm-
here,
I'm
bro?
from-
Just hit me up.
I'm always down there. I'm always in Dade County, though. My family's still in Dade County. I go every.
That's down deep, bro. That's like
Yeah. A lot of people don't like Dade County because,
a little
Dade County is
sketchy,
like.
bro.
I know. That's what I told Brock. Brock was like, "You from Florida?" I'm like, "I'm from Dade County and the Bronx. I don't know what you." I'm like, "Yo, I'm from fucking issue cities." Like,
Oh, see, he was the only one that was missing in the 3 Musca race baiters meeting this weekend.
he's. I don't think he's one of the big dogs.
Oh, he's
I
not
think-
up there yet. He's
I
just
think-
the big
yeah,
tough guy.
I think
He talks the big game.
The problem, I think I'm gonna be honest. I don't mean to sharpen up my own horns, but they were all part of it, and I seen that while I'm popping them off their fucking high horse, they kind of start pushing them to the side.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And I would understand because when I hit hard. I understand. That's my whole fucking objective. But once I hit hard, it's like I hit the armor, and then everybody else just starts coming in and picking at them till like they're literally fucking destroyed. And I'm like, damn. I kind of set a chain of events, and I've noticed that every time I debate, I set off a chain of events, and niggas is like fucking. That's it. They're like literally fucking gone for the count. And I've noticed that they throw them out. They threw out RC. They've thrown out a bunch of other people that
And because it's
we
survival
shot
of
at.
the fittest, you know what I mean?
Since they really haven't been touched, they could feel together but they're afraid. The other day it was Hippocrat and Cam from Hype House and me. We were having a debate with 2 other guys. Now Hype was Cam was mostly leading, you know what I mean? But Hippocrat and me, we were doing our thing. And it was supposed to, instead of the 2 individuals that showed up, it was supposed to be iSpeak, Conscious Lee, and Victoria Hammett against me and Hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then
And-
Victoria Hammond did the debate with John and one guy's opinion and all of them, right?
Yeah, she left. Yeah, and then iSpeak did another debate with somebody else, but or was that Conscience? One of them was supposed to, but none of them really showed up. You know what I mean? And I think that's what they do. I think they try to stay clear from L's because they've done a lot of stupid, sketchy shit, and I comment on them, and when I come back, my comment is gone, which is weird because I'm like, yo, I didn't fucking delete it, like. And I know, and I know I'm a dick because like when people come in from the left and they leave comments, I delete it. They'll be like, "Oh, you deleted my comments." I'll be like, "So?" They'll be like, "Oh, but freedom of speech." I'm like, "You ain't got no freedom of speech around these parts, homeboy." And I keep deleting them till they disappear. Then they'll be like, "Oh, you're a dick." I'll be like, "Hey, not for an eye, bro. They won't do it to you, but I'll do it to you. This is why I'm here to remind you this shit doesn't get done. You don't like it, then there you go." I'm gonna flag you. I don't care. I'm like, I'll fucking find my way back up here again. You guys are all my targets anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna fucking stay out of work. You're always saying some racist, stupid shit. I'm always gonna be here till you stop. So, you know, you want me gone?
100%,
Stop
bro.
it.
Keep fucking knocking them down.
Yeah, you want me gone? Stop it. That's it. As long as that negativity is around, I got that static for you.
How's my
That's
mic
it. The
now,
name.
Juice?
It sounds the
That's
same.
the and that's not even the name I wanted to use. I was using my original name, and then a bunch of my followers was like, "Yo, you should use this name." And I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Yo, because you just come different." I was like, "Yo, that's a
With
nice
that
name," and I
static.
started using it. They're like, "You hit different." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Yeah, you just hit different." I'm like, "Yo, but I'm just pointing out the truth." He's like, "It's different.
Yeah,
It's
I
different."
get those messages all the time. They're like, yeah, you speak what I want to speak. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so then just say it. Why do I have to be like,
Well,
just
because
say
not
it
a
if
lot
you
of
feel it.
not everybody has that voice box, you know. Some people have old oil in their voice box. They haven't changed their oil in a long time. I try to stay crispy. I change my oil's voice box every 3,000 miles. So
Well, I just keep telling everybody. I'm like, I'm not going to stop. The more stupidity I see, the more I'm going to point it out. Bottom line.
yeah. Plus, it's fun. I tell people all the time. People like showing other people that they're wrong. So just try not to be wrong, so they don't show you that you're wrong.
Right.
Well, you can sit here counting eggs all the time, but when you miss an egg or two, trust me, that comment section gonna be like, "Hey, it's really this amount." You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they can't sit there and fight with human nature. It's just the way we are. This is why
Right.
we have debates, so we can shoot ideas at each other.
Well, and actually, Static, I'm glad you brought that up because we had a little bit of a debate a couple weeks ago. And the thing is, he brought on some immature kid. We couldn't even establish what the facts were in the debate. So, like, to me, a debate is you establish what the facts are mutually between both parties, and then
Before you start,
both
I like-
sides weigh in on what the facts are that are mutually agreed upon.
right. I like me personally. I like the Oxford rules of debate. I like the
I got to go piss.
all right, the explanation, I'm down with clothes. That's how I also make my videos. If you notice, I make my videos like in the standard of the Oxford debate. So I'll do three videos, right? So I'll grab your video. Let's say you start. I grab your video. I duet your video, me on the side of you. So like that, we see your point. Then I'll go ahead and stitch my duet or your duet, and then I'll give my answer to that. Then you could come and stitch mines or duet, whatever you want to do. But your next response, I'll be duetting as well. That's 2. Then I'll give you my stitch, which is still 2. Then you'll go again. I'll do my duet and give you my reply. That's 3. Then I'll go ahead and summarize it. If anybody in between while I'm in the middle of that debate with that person that has to do something with my debate, because a lot of times people start talking about the sun, moon, and stars when you're talking about bubble gum. You know what I mean? So I'll grab the people who are actually trying to jump in, talking about bubble gum, and then I'll use those as my points of information. You know what I mean? Because that's the rules of debating. We have a subject, we're debating that subject, and we also get to answer questions, let's say of the opposing party, of points of information of what we're saying. So I'll use like anybody who's like commenting or trying to like debate me on the side about the matter for my point of interest. Then after my third, and I've established a few videos on the subject, then I'll go ahead and give my summary. You know what I mean? So I'm like a big fan of Oxford debate strategies and their guidelines when it comes to debating. If we don't have an established base of what we're going to speak about, there's no point in discussing this, because I hate seesaws. I just really do. If we're going to talk about hamburgers, man, let's talk about it. But don't bring in a hot dog to justify that you're getting your ass kicked because you don't know what a hamburger is.
And what this kid kept doing to the Fat Jew on the debate was, and I was trying my best to stay out of it. I was trying to be like moderator, but I was really staying out of it. He was sourcing nothing but left-wing liberal horseshit.
I hate the fucking. I hate the article pullers.
There was no data behind what this guy was talking.
That's because he doesn't debate. I've found that issue. Why I keep telling. I had that actually 2 days ago. They asked me that in the comments section, and I was answering. I was going to answer in the Q&A because the account after my big account got banned. I grew fast, and they gave me the Q&A, and inside was a question of literally that pertained to that. Give me a second. Let me get a little bit of water.
Yeah, and then in the middle of the debate, I put on the big screen and I minimized everybody's panel or whatever. I put up on the big screen the FBI.gov site that cites all the data and all the statistics, and it's unbiased. It just gives you the raw data.
Yeah.
And everything this kid was saying, just by me going on the FBI.gov website, was put to shit.
But he's a 16-year-old kid. What were we
So
his high school experiment?
So that was basically the question.
A lot of people are just as immature as him that are in their 30s, 20s, and 40s. You know what I mean?
The question was a very close to that. The young kid had asked me, why do I speak and consciously always want to debate people? Like, what was my opinion? Why do they always want to debate people, but they refrain from people like me? And I tell them it's because people like me, I shine. I'm like, you see me debate all these people and I shine. That's because I'm accustomed to debating. So I know the rules of debating, and I know how to debate for real. So I look like a king in front of you because you're pulling out articles that I know are your opinion. So I destroy your opinion, and then I go ahead and give you something that you haven't seen from a different perspective. So it looks like I'm destroying you. I go, so it looks like I'm a mastermind, but these are just the rules of debate, right? He won't dare do none of that with me because he knows at the end of the day, I know the rules of debate. So he goes around with other kids and other people who don't know those rules or how to strategize it because they've never done it. So he looks good to his followers, but he won't dare debate somebody who actually debates. If you notice how he deals with Tyler would destroys him. You know what I mean? Topher destroys him because they debate. You know, he won't dare step into those grounds because they know that everything they're pulling out, they have to prove. You can't bring me an article. I already know an article is an opinion. And if you're using somebody else's opinion, this means you no longer have an argument. You're toast for me. This means I am fighting a robot. You're just ready. The first thing I'm going to do is give you snuck. I'm going to give you snuck questions. You know, or freeze questions. Snuff questions are questions that.
I'll be right back, bro. I gotta check something.
All right, snuff questions are questions that will freeze your argument. You know what I mean? And then a freeze argument will go ahead and just literally make you change your subject. You know what I mean? And like, I know the rules. Like, I know you don't stray from your conversation. You ignore it, no matter how emotional or how much they attack your persona. You understand? Oh, but I'll give you an example. We'll be talking about poverty, okay? But then somebody will go, well, you know, maybe if you don't make $40 million a year, so you shouldn't be talking. I ignore that. I know the rules very well. I will not fall to that fishing line. I will continue on my debate on poverty and then pull you alongside, right? You know what I mean?
What does something like that even have to do with what you're talking about?
Correct. So that's the reason why they won't dare debate a person like me, because I know these rules. They'll go ahead and do those little strategies to somebody else, and then the person will go ahead, hook, line, and sinker, change the whole subject, and now you're in his world. And they know that with a profession, with somebody who does debates, you're in for it because they know the rules. They know it's like being a chess master and playing with a person who's never played chess or just mediocre at chess. You're going to look like a superstar. But when you start playing with people who play it on a daily basis, they see your moves. They know your moves because they use them themselves. So that's why they won't go ahead and debate somebody who debates because they know very well it's going to be a hard time. So at times, the other day, they were talking about, BLM has done nothing for the Black community. This guy just, I Speak was jumping all over the place. I'm going to show you. And he went straight to the BLM organization website. He pulled up all these companies and he's like, here they are. And then I told them in the comments section, I said, my brother, those aren't companies. Those are other organizations for people to also donate money. So the company that you're donating money created other organizations for you to donate money. My man, they're not doing anything for the black community. What the fuck are you talking about?
Nothing.
My man, yo, comment deleted, blocked. And this is the problem why he won't dare debate a person like me, because I'd be like, wait a second, that's what are you talking about?
So this
You know what I
audience,
mean?
obviously, I'm preaching to the choir with anybody that would watch the show, but a lot of people don't understand that you go onto the website for BLM and you look at their agenda. A lot of their agenda has nothing to do with Black Lives Mattering. It's like market stuff
At all.
and then
At all. So he went into
BLM,
the
you're basically donating to the DNC and you're donating to the founder so she could buy another piece of property somewhere.
Five pieces of property. 5.
I told my peoples over here, I'm like, yo, that's a building. That's a project.
Yeah.
That's projects. How much did it total? How much did the 5 properties total exactly?
$3 million. It wasn't like it was a big deal, but she still does $3 million worth of donations instead of helping the inner city black youth. Went to her McMansions.
And bro, Bernie Sanders only has 3 houses himself, and he's a fucking socialist. How many houses does someone really fucking need?
He's a socialist. He's in the society. He's socializing his, So he has a house everywhere. I think he has a different definition of socialist.
But Juice, the number's 12.
But yeah, seriously, like 5 houses though. Like who really? I don't even think Donald Trump has 5 places that he lives at.
I mean, and for him, it wouldn't be questionable because he does real estate. So,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and don't worry, none of those 5 houses were anywhere near any of the inner cities.
Mm-mm.
No,
So
they're rich,
I tell people in the hood want to get out of the hood. I don't see why all these people on TikTok acting like they love it. I tell them either you've come to terms with your existence where you're at, or my man, you're selling bullshit.
But hold on. But let me ask you a question. If you're the founder, right, wouldn't you buy like a city block in the inner city, right?
That's us though, because we're conservatives, right? And we love our people, but they don't love themselves.
No, instead she goes by as in the
this is they're all puppets. They're puppets.
No.
I found out they were puppets when they were burning down CHOP, and that guy pulled up in that fucking Tesla, and he opened up the trunk and he started handing out weapons. Y'all remember that?
In a Tesla of all cars.
Yeah, you remember that? You guys saw that? After that, for me, it was over. I was like, oh, this shit is all about money. Why? How the fuck are you talking oppression? But you pulled up in a Tesla. I owned a Tesla for like 3 months, and it's because I bought it, crashed, fixed it, drove it to the car wash, drove it back, put a for sale sign. Fucking crazy. This motherfucker driving a Tesla.
Rambo's got a Tesla, handing out weapons.
Look at, you gotta love America, man. You gotta love that group. And then they hate everything. They even hate themselves. Have you noticed that?
Well, a lot of liberals are self-hating, whatever they are, whether it's a self-hating Jewish person, self-hating white, especially self-hating white people, right? The whole term white guilt. Why am I guilty over the color of my skin? Why am I guilty over something I can't control?
Well, I don't understand. I told one the other day, right? I was having this discussion in the party, right? And then
I'm guilty about mistakes I've made in my life. I'm not guilty about the color of my skin.
But Juice, don't you understand that because the other people are a minority, that's what their same feeling is?
Well, hey, hold on a second there. My heritage is Italian. That's part of the biggest lynching in the history of America.
Yes.
we found that out today. Found that shit out today. I was at a party about 2 weeks ago, and I have a friend that likes to tell people that I like Trump because he likes to hear me have these conversations. He likes Trump too. He's not open about it.
Fat Jew, I like grits too.
No, sorry
me
about
too.
that. I took my gun apart to clean it, and the fucking spring and the goddamn thing went flying across the room, and I lost it.
Hey, Fat
I
Jew,
love
how do you
grits, bro.
like your grits, bro? Regular, creamy, or al dente?
Regular, I guess.
I like it a little creamy because I like to put butter in it with pepper, and I like to throw my eggs in there.
Were they magic grits?
I thought, why not? We can't get strikes anymore.
If we just talk about great recipes, I don't think I'll get taken down.
Shout out to the former Vice President Walter Mondale. Just died at age 93. He served under Jimmy Carter.
Walter
Everybody
who?
dying.
Some breaking news on the Juice Giorgio Network.
Everybody's dying.
Breaking
That's
news.
crazy.
People
Everybody's
just don't come here for entertainment; they come here for breaking news too.
everybody fucking dying nowadays.
Wait, the whole two people that are here?
I want Puff Daddy to die.
Jesus, that's a strong statement.
Yeah, I never liked him even in the 90s. I've always loved hip hop a lot, and people who used to pay for like rap lyrics and stuff, we always considered them wannabes, and he used to do that. And then now he's talking all this shit. He talked all that shit against Trump. I hated them even before that. That was just like sign, sealed, and deliver. Now he's talking about this guy who's running out here in New York. Oh, I endorse. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't even live in the city. Shut the fuck up, my nigga.
Listen, the
Like
people in the city like Big E and DMX, man, they made the scene back in the 90s.
That's a fact, man.
They were the scene back in the 90s.
Yeah,
That's a
just
fact.
They were the scene.
If Tupac and
fact.
Biggie were still rapping, all of these little fucking rappers would be working at fucking McDonald's.
Listen, you had
Well, you know what it is? I think it was all a setup, because remember back in the days, for you to like rap, you couldn't just be anybody. You had to like literally prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like now, everybody could just blow up, and YouTube and all that shit helps them. They don't even have to be nice.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
you
really
need
what
is
it
the right
is.
A lot of people forget you had to be legitimate.
You
All
got to
need
be
is a catchy
legitimate.
beat and auto tune. That's it.
Keep in mind, all this chain snatching and shit happened when 50 started coming up, because he was like the last of the Goonies of the old era, and all these young kids all here trying to act like this shit, like you got it, like nah, bro, we come from a different. That's the discussion I be having a lot of times with these kids. They be like, "Oh, you ain't streets." I'd be like, "Yo, we don't know each other, my man.
Listen,
Just keep that in mind. We don't know each other." Whatever you think your opinion is, bro, I suggest you don't act on it, because it's not gonna be pretty. I'll do shit, my man, and hop in my car and leave. People don't understand. I've lived a long life, man. I'm 40 years old. I know cops don't respond in 10 seconds
at all, bro.
Now that's why I leave the beard, right? So I had to take it off because I have to take some fucking pictures for work, so I gotta have a clean face. But that's why I leave the beard, because I have a baby face. I get that a lot. Even when I go drinking and stuff at the bars, people be like, "I did," and I don't even get mad. I'd be like, "Yo, thank you, bro." For real, I'd be like, "Yo, for real, thank you."
Mad, and then after 30, it's a compliment.
Yo,
I used to go. That's true that you mentioned that. I always used to get pissed off, even when I was like 22. I'm 22. I'm 19.
It's like, what are you saying? I'm not
Like-
fucking a baby.
And imagine, I got a baby face now. Imagine back then, bro. You don't see it. You don't
And
see
now it's
it.
like, oh, you're carding me? Thank you. You're such
Oh,
a
shit,
nice human being for proofing me.
It's crazy, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. But it's a curse within itself, because I have two older brothers. The one right above me, he grows a beautiful, lush beard. And I'm always like, yo, what is it that you do to grow your beard like that? Mine grows up patchy. I gotta grow it for a long time and comb it and cut it properly so it doesn't look patchy. He's like, well, to grow a beard, first off, you gotta be a man.
Oh,
that shit that should be pissing me off. But man, he grows beautiful beard. I can't, like, this is gonna take like a whole 2 months for me to get back to where I was, maybe more. That fucking sucks. So I'm gonna sit here in my videos like, well, it's time for me to summarize this and finish this. You know how that beard all itchy. But yeah,
They
man.
got some beard oils nowadays, bro. They got all kinds of shit.
I got that stuff. I got beard balm and all that stuff, but that shit don't work for me. That shit just makes it look nice and stay in place and all this shit. It doesn't help me grow. My shit takes forever to grow.
I don't know, I
It
never
just
put any
sucks.
beard oil or any kind of beard stuff in my face. I could care less, bro. The only reason
When I
why
was-
I have a beard is to cover up the 4 chins that like to hang out when I fucking shave. You know what I mean?
When I was like 17 years old, I used to have a friend He was 13. He was little brother to a guy we used to hang out with. And if I tell you we used this motherfucker to buy his beer, His beard, bro, was like Fidel Castro's beard, bro. This guy used to just walk into a store, grab the beers, put them on the counter, and we had a 13-year-old buying us beer. Now you see him now, he look like an old ass man, and I'm like, yo, this nigga always look like an old fart. Like, yo, at 13, this motherfucker had a beard, bro. He was bad too. This motherfucker used to just fucking be bad, bro.
Right, so now he's old as hell. So
Yeah, he came out in the newspaper a couple of times. Bad, but nothing like killing and stuff like that. He used to like. The first time he came out in the newspaper, he was like 13 years old, 14 years old. He was running from his mother because his mom was whooping his ass. He jumped the fence in Hialeah. He jumped the fence, which was to like a baseball field. And then he jumped another fence, which was to the police station. He jumped on a police car and he took off on the police car in reverse, right? So he goes under the fence, under another fence, and then he saw his mom behind him, so he put it in drive, and then he went under the fence and went under the fence, and then he ran inside the police station. He jumped out of the police car and he put himself behind the bars himself. He was like, yo, my mom's trying to fuck me up. Yeah, he came out in the newspaper for that shit. So yeah.
That's crazy.
So he was more scared of his mom than the
of his mom. Yeah, we call him Cell Block Jazz. His name is Lazaro, so we call him Cell Block Laz.
That's some
yeah. He did like 3 months of probation for that shit. The cops are like, yeah, let your mom deal with that.
Tough. Got me out of fucking jail. I can tell you that much right now.
Nah, he's been in and out of jail his whole life.
I got pulled over one day, no license. I was in a fucking, doing like 90 down the Bell Parkway. 2 detectives pulled me over. They call up my mom. This is when me and my mom had bad times. She was like, I don't care, arrest him. So the cop was like, no, because your mom said that, I'm gonna let you go because I feel bad for you. So I got lucky.
That was a great story, by the
Yeah.
I've been lucky. I've done nothing but community hours.
Then my saving grace was I met my wife. Her uncle was a cop in Nassau. Then my sister married an NYPD officer, so I was good. Anywhere I went, I had badges, I had fucking cards. I was getting away with all kinds of dumb shit.
My father knew a lot of police officers because he served at the military. So a couple of them were like, they branched out. So military people like fucking get along. So they all kind of knew me. So when I used to get into trouble, they kind of didn't really bother. They bothered, but they were like, hey, you're growing. You're from, because it's true. From like 13 to like 17, I was fucking uncontrollable. I was doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I've even gotten beat up by police officers who knew my father before they dropped me off at my father's. If I tell you I was bad, I was bad. I've been caught selling weed. I didn't have to sell weed. Like that was just doing stupid shit because you're growing up in the 90s and it was that type of environment.
Static, let me ask you a question. Were you born in Dade County and came to the Bronx?
No, I was born in the Bronx. So
oh wow.
Yeah, my family
whole thing.
Yes, my mother's from Manhattan, my father's from Houston. My father studied in Houston, finished college in Houston, moved to New York City, and my father opened a business in New York City. We had a couple of kids, then I came. I was here till second grade. In second grade, my mother's an architect, so that's why she was here.
Oh shit, that's what I went to college for.
Yeah, my mother went to Fordham University. So
I think we had this conversation. You came down here for school, you were here for a couple of years, and you went back.
Yeah, so my mother was an architect here, building buildings and maintenance and stuff like that. And my father was like, listen, it's better to run a business over there in Florida because there's more vehicles and, so we used to back and forth. So from like second grade and third and, 1 year here, 1 year there in Florida and New York every year. So it was fun till high school was the last time that I did that because my parents wanted me to finish high school in one whole school. You know, they didn't want me back and forth because they felt like, well, that's, you know, let him do his whole shit in one school. Now the schools in I was given a choice whether to do them in New York or do them in Florida. I chose to do them in Florida because
Really?
the schools, yeah, they're much better. The schools in Florida are much cleaner. They're much cleaner.
But education-wise, I feel like New York is a little stronger, no?
Sure,
Yeah,
Well,
and,
I don't, maybe New York
not-
State, but not the Bronx.
And yeah, not like the schooling here is not good. It's
Not
really
in the
not. The
bor-
school,
I think
the
the
s-
schooling
the
in all
s-
the boroughs has to suck unless it's private.
it is, yeah, because you're inside a building and then you got to go up and down the stairs, right? And the stairs already have like bars in them, and they're tight. You know, let's say it's a building, you really can't grow in the building, and then they were always packed. Going up the stair was always packed. And when I used to go to school in Florida, they were. My grandmother sent me a message. You know, the schools are flat. You have a lot of space.
Probably
You
didn't
have
have any more
you-
polar opposite. You probably had
Yeah.
football fields and soccer fields.
all
and
that stuff. So if you like in
can't
my
have that in
time,
New York. That's
no,
hard.
it's hard. So
No,
like
you have them,
when
but
I
they're
was
fucking,
growing
like,
up,
tiny. They're about 10 foot by 10 foot. They don't give you much.
we used to watch Saved by the Bell at that time. And to me, when I used to watch
Great
Saved by the
show.
Bell,
Great
I used to be like, oh shit, you know, the schools in Florida are just like that. You have your lockers in the hallways and you switch classes. Meanwhile, in New York, you have your lockers inside your classroom. You can't really go into your locker. You have to carry everything with you. And I was like, I'm not trying to take that headache just to go to school, you know.
Right.
So I chose. Plus, I used to love sports, and I used to do sports all year round. That's really one of the things.
And the weather's nicer. Chicks are walking
Yeah.
around in less clothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's nicer.
Yeah. I mean, I was running most of the time, jogging and stuff, but still at the end of the day, I liked it because the nightlife is beautiful. Plus, in Florida, when I used to travel to like in New York, we had cars, but we tried not to move them much. You know what I mean? Because of parking. Meanwhile, in Florida, we was driving everywhere, so I was like, yo,
Alternate side, bro. Alternate
yeah,
side.
fucking A, bro. That shit fucking kills you. So I was like, yo, I'm not fucking taking that headache. I prefer, you know, living a comfortable life till I fucking do my thing. But every summer I was here. I found myself coming even more. So like summers I was here. Thanksgivings I was here. Christmas I was here. New Year's I was here, you know. So like the holidays we were spending them mostly here. My sister was always like coming to New York City because even from young, she never got to live snow. You know what I mean? Like she was born during a snowstorm, but she never like lived snow because when we left, she was about 3 years old, 4 years old, and never gave her time to play in the snow. We've been here hundreds of times, and that poor girl used to come every Christmas. My God, it's not snowing! It's not snowing! So like 3 years ago, it snowed, and she was like crying, "Oh my God, why did it snow? How am I born in New York and never touched snow?" I'm like, hey, but you know, it's it's fun. The only problem with Dade County. Yeah, the only problem
down to Tampa, let me know, bro. I got a place for you.
Thank you. The problem with Dade County is that it's hot. You know, it's violent, you know, but it's not that serious. It has its zones. It has its nice areas, its bad areas.
It's just like everything else, though. You stay out of certain neighborhoods in certain places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I didn't live in a great neighborhood, but I didn't live in a bad neighborhood. I just found myself going to school with people, and you know, they'll invite me to their neighborhood, and I'm like, oh shit, so this is what this part of the neighborhood, you know, this is what this part. But you know, once everybody gets to know you, you get familiarized with the area. You go into the area like it's yours. Because I had taken a friend of mine's on vacation with me and her for like a couple of days. This was about 2017, and it was like about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm driving, and I leave South Beach, right, and I'm coming up. Instead of taking the toll to come towards towards Lejeune, towards the Miami airport, because we could take Okeechobee and go to my house, I went towards North Miami, and I took 95 going north. I got off on University, and I headed down towards I got off on 135th, and I headed down towards University. And she's like, yo, this is ghetto. I'm like, nah, we good. She's like, yo, what the fuck is this? Because it just gets darker in that area. You could tell you're like in crack infested zones. I'm like, nah, we good. We pull over to the side, and there's this area called La Villa, and she's like, what is this? I'm like, yo, this is a strip club. She's like, no, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, yeah, this is a strip club. It looks like a fucking hole in the wall. I take
Right.
her in there. It's a strip club, and she's like, "Oh shit, this is a strip club. I'm scared." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "All right, so let's get out of here." I feel good because it's my city. So I'm like, "All right, no problem." But we hop on, we drive a little bit further, and then I pull into a parking lot, and there's just mad donks and mad trucks, and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" I go, "Oh, this is the barbecue spot." And then like 10 minutes later, she was like, all good with it. She's like, "Yo, this is a good environment." I'd be like, "Yeah, and niggas just look ugly. Everybody looks dangerous, but nobody's out here on that shit. Everybody just want to eat and chill. Yeah, if somebody get out of line, they get put into place, but most of the time nobody's looking for a problem." So
That's like me. I live in Hillsborough County. I'm in the hood, but I'm not in the ghetto. You know what I mean? Like, as long as I mind my own fucking business.
a lot of people don't know, but Florida's a hot state. I keep telling people, go to Tampa and just go sleep just for 24 hours right by the football stadium. If you gangsta, go around that area. We all know what's around that area.
Yeah.
Hotness.
Everybody in the state of Florida knows if you're really scared of going somewhere, it's really Fort Tampa, by the football stadium, and Fort Worth. For some reason, West Palm Beach has turned into shit recently too. Last time I was at West Palm Beach, there was like 12 stabbings. I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?" And my friend was like,
Well, that's
"Yo,"
a very blue area too.
he was like, "Yo, this shit has gotten out of hand." I was like, "Yo, this shit used to be real nice before." He's like, "Yeah, this has gotten out of hand."
Really, West Palm Beach turned to a dump.
Yeah. I like Fort Lauderdale though. I'm just scared of Fort Lauderdale. I get pulled over a lot in Fort Lauderdale, but I can't help it. I love that Bass Pro Shop that's there, bro, and Davies. Yo, I fucking love that area.
Wait, why do you get pulled over?
Man, can I be honest? So when I was 16, I got my driver's license, and my father bought me a 1988 300ZX. A year after that, he bought me a 91 300ZX. So I've never really, like, till now in New York City was when I learned how to slow down. I've always been fucking flying. And in that area, there's always a lot of state troopers on the highway. And that highway that highway is wide. So you could whistle down that highway, man. And there's no
Let me
exits.
just tell you, bro. If I had my car down here, my 96 Firebird like I had in New York, I would be getting tickets left and fucking right, bro. Because
Yeah, those
like I was telling
5.0s
you
could
earlier,
whistle.
he was there for the weekend, bro. When you're on these highways, bro, you could fucking sliver your way through shit going 95 easy, bro.
Yeah, they're nice and clean. Those highways are white.
Yeah, and they're easy to fucking go fast on, bro. That's the problem.
They're nice and clean too. Not like here, bro. Here you gotta be careful.
They knew me in my old neighborhood when I had my car. They knew me by the car, bro. I've gotten pulled over twice in 2 nights. The officer was like, "You again, bro?" He's like, "Slow the fuck down, or I'm gonna have to give you a ticket."
Another thing is that growing up, starting to drive in Florida, your speed limit is totally different. So, like in the highways, you have like a minimum. They're like, "Nigga, don't get any lower than this shit." You know what I mean?
Minimum like 55, and then
55.
the speed limit 75. So you can go 85.
Yes, right. So I'm accustomed to only respecting the laws in the school zones, right? 15 miles per hour in the school zone. You don't want to fuck with that. You fuck with that, you fuck.
No, because if there's school going on, there's a cop sitting right there waiting for you.
Yes, and that's a ticket you can't talk yourself out of.
Right,
they don't care. You can talk yourself out of any ticket except that shit, right? Yep. So you learn how to respect that. I never got one, I thank God, but everybody used to tell me, "Yo, I just got a ticket for going 1 mile." I'm like, 1 mile? They're like, "Oh yeah, that's a school zone." Like you should have known better. You should have been at 5, bro. You know what I mean? But
so listen to this crazy shit. So
real quick, and then I come to the city. The speed limit is 25.
Oh yeah,
what?
Local, yes, and like 45 on the highway.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
now,
in fairness, I've been driving in the city. I work in the city. I drive in the city. Fair, I've never once pulled over for speeding.
No, me either.
You can't speed in the city. There's too many fucking cabs.
Dude,
it's
45 miles.
The other day I did 26, and they sent me a picture.
No,
with an apology too, which was crazy.
Speaking of pictures,
I
right?
got the picture, and then I got an apology about the picture. I was like, so why the fuck did you send me the picture? Like, I guess they realized, they're like, yo, this shit is desperate because nobody's in the street. They send them a 26
miles an hour and they gave you a ticket.
What was that? I didn't pick that up.
You were doing 26 miles an hour,
And right by my house too. This happened like right on Westchester Square. You know what Westchester Square is?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, right by there. And then they sent me a letter like a day or two later apologizing about the ticket. And I was like, yo, this is fucking weird.
Do you have to pay it?
No.
Oh.
What the other day, which is on the same subject, I got I crossed the tolls a lot to Teaneck because you know I got my kids in Teaneck. I don't want them studying here. I don't want to sound like a douchebag. I prefer, you know, staying broke and sleeping in the car if I have to. I prefer my kids studying. Don't laugh. It's true, though. You guys got good schools. The money's here, though.
That just proves to me that you give a shit. You know what I mean? You care
The
about
money's
your
here.
education.
Yeah, the money's here. I'll eat that turd. It ain't shit. It's okay. But the other day they send me a bill and they're like, oh, you owe us $1,000. I'm like, I owe you $1,000 for what? They're like, for the toll. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not paying that shit. They're like, oh, well, we'll suspend your registration. I was like, fuck. What is the $1,000 for? Because I'm not paying you that processing fee. They're like, no, this is all tolls. I'm like, but aren't you sending them to me? They're like, nah, we missed a couple. So I had to like take that L. I don't know if it was true, you know, but
Driving a Freightliner?
Speaking of
no,
tickets,
you know, it's like $16 now to cross the toll.
that
And
shit
they
is
say they haven't sent me
crazy.
for like a year. They said they haven't, which is, I kind of believe it because I cross almost every week, right? And it's true. I only recall like paying like 5 or 6. So I can't. I'm really not mad, and I imagine how long this has been happening. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take that L.
But that's not your fault that they fucked up.
You know what? You can't fight and win, bro. Especially when they're already talking about suspending it. Well, you don't pay, we suspend. I'm like,
Yeah,
can I do
they
a
don't-
payment plan?
They just want their money, and they're gonna
They
do
just
whatever
want
they
the-
can to get it.
Mm-hmm. You just
Yo,
gotta take that L.
Speaking of tolls and fucking life hacks, bro, I'm driving Juice to the airport. I hop in the expressway, right?
It's a good
And
story.
I see this guy with his tailgate down, and he's got shit in the back. So I'm like worried he's gonna lose the shit, right? Now in Florida, you only have to have a plate in the back, not in the
Yes.
front. So I beep at him. I'm like, yo, your tailgate's down. He's like, you know what? Being that you told me, I got you. He's like, fucking no tolls. I was like, oh shit. When you put your tailgate down, the fucking camera can't read your plate, so you get free tolls, bro. I was like, damn, bro, that's smart shit.
But over there
like,
is
it's
a
only
quarter
$1
and
something
shit.
for the toll. It ain't
Yeah,
no
that's
big
what I'm
deal.
saying. It's like it's nothing. But over here, these motherfuckers want to charge you to go in the city, right? So for example, for him, when he has to cross over, he has to pay the toll for the bridge, right? The G Dub. Then he has to pay tolls to get into the city because now they're charging people tolls to get into Manhattan.
Of course they are. That's because Cuomo's a piece of shit, and he knows that's where the
Bro,
money.
this shit's looking like the Hunger Games for real.
Wait, they started that already?
Districts. And
Bro,
all.
yeah, like if you're coming in from the Bronx or from Queens, like any of those 2 bridges, you gotta pay. And I think they're charging almost $9. I think it's $8.50 or $7
God
or $6.50.
damn.
That's crazy.
That's fucking highway robbery, literally, bro. God
It
damn.
is. It is. Yo, that shit used to be packed before. Now you drive by there and that shit is empty. You can
Right.
go in through the east side for free. But fuck, I'm not gonna lie. I'll pay that $6.50 just so I don't sit that 10 hours on the traffic.
Wait, so
It's just berserk.
you're telling me if I need to go into Manhattan, if I take the George
You gotta pay the toll now. No, not through the George Washington. If you come in, let's say through the Henry Hudson, they haven't done a toll there yet. They're only doing it when you're coming in from Queens or the Bronx.
Oh, so
Like if
now
you
they're
take,
so now they're charging you New York to New York toll,
which you know that from New Jersey to New York already is illegal.
The toll used to only be New Jersey to New York, and for some reason it's
that
free
was
to drive
illegal.
back into Jersey. It's always been free to drive back home to Jersey for me. I wonder why.
I
That shit's
could tell you. I studied law, and it's mandatory that every municipality has control of its own capital. This means its own police and its own, local, right? So if you notice, Teaneck, Hackensack, any city in Bergen, for example, have their own municipality with their own police. The city does not. The city has one police for all 5 boroughs: Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. They're all different counties, and somehow they're all sharing the same police in the same municipality. That's crazy, right? Yet they don't have to follow state law. They have like their own fucking law. It's like they're their own country within inside of a country. This shit is like, I tell people all the time, I feel like New York City is communist central, bro. This is,
Yeah, and then
this
they
is like
wonder why
Cuba.
people are fucking moving out. I mean,
It's
not
because
that
of the
hard to
weather,
figure out.
according to Cuomo. It's because of the weather.
My rent went down.
Cuomo's a
My rent
fucking
went down.
scumbag.
My rent went down. I was paying $3,600. My rent went down to $3,200.
Yeah, because everybody moved out.
Bro, why are you paying a mortgage for a mansion for rent?
Oh man, I live in a nice neighborhood in the
Bro,
Bronx.
if you
The only
pay that kind
nicer
of money
place than
down
this.
here, bro, you can buy a fucking
Yeah.
mansion.
Yeah, but I have my kids. I gotta wait for my kids to grow.
But dude, that's
Once
like
my kids are grown, I'll probably be out of here.
that's
Nuts,
like a
bro.
that's not even a mortgage. That's like a mortgage for a really nice house.
Oh yeah.
I live in a nice apartment though. I have a basement to myself, and I have a gym down there. I have the backyard, and I have a barbecue. I also have the roof. I have a patio up there. I go upstairs and smoke my cigar. So I live like a king. You know, when my kids come,
That's
they,
kind of
For that
I-
kind
well-
of money, you better.
I would hope you
Yeah.
look like a king for fucking 3,600.
because I could just I could just pay for the apartment, but you know, my kids come and I don't want them like locked in here. So I was like, oh, what, you want anything for the basement? He's like, yeah. So I just took the basement. I was like, hey, you know, the roof is flat. You want anything for the roof? Yeah, boom, got the roof. Oh, the backyard, and I took the backyard. I did it mostly for the kids. I
right,
don't want them like trapped in the bedroom.
right. But if your kids are going to school in Teaneck, why don't you get a place like that for that kind of money?
And Teaneck, because I can't find a place like this in Teaneck. I was living before I came here, for example. I want to say a couple of years back in Fairview, right in front of the cemetery by Fairview.
Yep.
And if you notice, it has a little hill. The apartments to the left, and they're nice apartments, and the price was perfect. But the thing is that my job is here, and I kind of like don't want to go get another job because since all my contracts are here, for me to travel to Jersey to get an apartment or anything like that, I feel like I'm gonna lose the comfortability I have, like how I built here. You know, my shit in my basement, my shit in my roof.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Yeah.
a lot of people, like in all my neighborhood over here, I'm 45 minutes, an hour from the city, right? And
Mhm.
everybody moved out here from the city, and they take the train in if they got to go in or they drive in. So, you know, an hour, pretty much an hour door to door when there's not that much traffic.
Yeah, I gotta use my car though to work. I run 4 automotive shops, and then I do, excuse me, contracts for emission. So it depends how my day is. Like, so for example, today I got up, I went to 140th and Grand Concourse. After 140th and Concourse, I drove to Pelham Manor, went to my office, picked up some equipment, went to Newark Airport, did work in Newark Airport, came back to the city, went to Eastchester, was up in Eastchester for like 2 hours, finished the day, closed the register, came home. You know what I mean? So I kind of got to use my car. Sitting in that traffic, I've done that before. Like when I used to live in Teaneck, it was hard for me leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to be at a place at 8 o'clock, 8:30, because that traffic on the bridge was killer. I need my car.
Yeah,
I can't like travel in and then, you know.
yeah, you're in your commute.
So I kind of got to take this L. Once the
I'm
kids
sure
are big,
working in the airport is fun. Going through security like that. They
I
probably-
don't go through none of that.
Oh really?
Got a Twit card?
Mhm. No, they can't touch me.
Yeah, but what do you have, a Twit card, or how do you get in?
No, okay. So what I do is emission. So like, let's say for example, just give you a quick one. Besides cars and trucks like that, let's say I got a Delta to do. I'm just gonna go check the burning. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go check the emissions, see what it's burning. Make sure it's not polluting much. That's all I do. I can't be touched by anybody else. Anybody stops me or anything like that, it looks suspicious. You know what I mean? They just, I go in through the back because I go talk directly to Delta's office. I don't go to the airport or talk to like anybody in the desk or anything like that. I go straight. The airports, if you notice, they have like warehouses around them. Those are their facilities. So you have Delta, and everybody else in there. So you just go into those facilities and you talk to them. You know, once you show them your
I got you. So
contract and all that
you're
stuff,
doing more work outside because I know some people who are doing
they
like
work you.
construction work, and then they worked at JFK, and every day was like a fucking hassle. They had to go to a
Yeah,
security
yeah.
thing.
Yes. So I go through security, but I just give off my ID. I go directly to the Delta office, for example, and if they have like, let's say 3 planes this week, then I'll just settle. I'll go ahead and schedule them first, right? And I'll be like, okay, when are the planes going to be here? They try to make me work on their schedule, and I'll be like, look, you either ground it or you work on my schedule. This is simple. If I don't okay it, that shit ain't going nowhere. So eat a dick and make sure the plane is here that day. I don't wait, right? So for example, my last trip, this one was a remake, so this is a double charge. About 2 weeks ago, this plane has been sitting now for 2 weeks because of the manager, right? So you're supposed to meet DOT for the tires. You know, there's a lot of shit that's supposed to be met, right? So, this plane was supposed to be there. Besides this plane, I had to go to the shipyard, right? I had to go see a Seaboard flight before it left. So I'm waiting on this plane, and I'm like, okay, 9 o'clock, where's the plane? Oh, the plane hasn't landed. What do you mean the plane hasn't landed? Oh, well, the plane went to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why is the plane in blah, blah, blah? If that plane is not clear to fly for, you know, you have 3 days, right? So let's say yesterday is one day, today is a day. I'll be here today. Tomorrow's another day. I try to be here the first day or the second day so the company doesn't lose any money. So, right. Oh, well, you know, come back later. I'm like, what the fuck you mean come back later? I fight a lot in my job. Fist fight, beat the shit out of people because they don't understand this is my time. And when I send a bill, the company doesn't want to hear it. You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, so why are you charging me for not doing the plane? I'd be like, oh, ask that motherfucker. That's not my problem. That shit was supposed to be there. You signed the contract. So, right. So he's like, oh, come back later. I go, come back later. Boom. And I gave him my bill and I left. He's like calling me the next day. I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh, the plane is here. I'm like, today's not the schedule. Yesterday was the schedule. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, but you gave me a bill. Right? I'm like, yeah. That's not how it works. So I show up today. He's like, yo, I'm not paying for this. I said, listen, this is how this is going to go. You're going to pay that bill. You're going to pay this bill. I don't want to hear you're not going to pay my bill. You don't pay my bill.
There when I say to be there.
Yeah. I say, you don't have my bill.
Got the customers by the balls. That's no different than how the airlines treat the customers.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, look, this is simple. I could grab my shit and bounce, and you could take it with the fucking state. We'll talk about that shit, or you're going to pay both my bills. He's like, oh, this is not my fault. I go, yo, that's all your fault. When did I tell you that I was supposed to be here? Well, you know, no, my nigga. I don't know shit. I know you know when I was supposed to be here. Well, you know, yo, my nigga, you a liberal? He's like, what do you mean? Why does it have to be politics? I'm like, yo, because of the way you talking, you're not, you know, you're not taking responsibility for the plane not being here. I don't, oh, but you could have came back. I go, yes, I could have. I could have came back an hour, maybe 2 minutes after. But my time is money, bro, and I don't work free for you. He's like, yo, right. Can you do me a favor? I go, yo, I don't like those talks because this is about money. So
and what's funny to me is these companies have fucking millions. And
but it's not really the company. It's always the employees. The employees are always trying to outreach. So like, notice like
their own money.
They act like it's their money. You call for a problem for your cell phone, for example, and these people are like fighting for that account like it's theirs. And I'd be like, yo, are you understanding that you're charging me for nothing? Like, get the fuck out of here. You charged me twice. They fight for it like it's theirs. So yeah, I take a lot of heat. I fight a lot. I also do like
bottom line.
I also do like repossession of vehicles. So like, for example, if there's a safety recall and the dealer is not picking it up or taking care of it, I intervene. So like, for example, let's say you have let's throw out there a Mercedes 350. Yes, bad airbag, Takana airbag, and nothing is happening, right? And I continue seeing the car pass inspection. The system lets me know, well, this car continues to pass inspection, but nobody's taking care of the service bulletin or nobody's taking care of the recall, you know, and then your name, the vehicle's VIN goes from green to yellow to red to like literally like, yo, somebody's this shit, because they have a time when the accident might happen. So then that's when I intervene. I'll come at your house. I'll be like, yo, blah, 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 blah. I'm here to take your car, bro. This shit turns people upside down. Now, keep in mind, I'm telling you, listen, I'm going to call the dealer right now. The dealer's going to bring you a car. No price, you know, it's not going to cost you anything. and I'm gonna take this car and have them
It's not
fix
as
it. I'm gonna
dramatic as
mandate
the
it.
airplane scene.
It's not, bro, and people make it into a drama, bro. You're not taking my car. Oh, what am I gonna drive?
Even
Hey,
though
bro, but
you
I just
tell
told you I'm
them
gonna
that the
bring you.
dealership's gonna bring him a car.
How
fuck is wrong
long?
with
They
you?
make it worse. Yeah, they make it worse. You have some people
they'd
that be
rather
like,
keep their car and fucking something go off and something
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
you have some people that give you no problem whatsoever. They're like, oh shit, because I give them two options. I give them, that you either get a car and the dealer takes the car, or I could call the dealer and the dealer could be here
Bro, you remind
on a
me of
certain day.
like a movie character. Like you're like the guy that just shows up.
Before that, I used to work for the National Highway and Traffic Administration, and I used to do like car accidents before.
Now let me ask you a question, Static. How did you even think about getting into that line of work?
I didn't, my man. That was all my father. That was all my father. So you see, when I was a lost cause, right? I was doing good in school, so I was a lost cause, and my father was like, well, like, I'm gonna lose him, right? Because he's had two boys before. One was a real fucking total nutcase. The other one, he kind of like dropped out of school, did his GED, he joined the army, but my father's kind of like, okay, he did good, but that's not what I'm expecting, right? So he sees me growing, and then he finds out I'm doing shit I'm not supposed to. So like on my sophomore year, he was like, well, before I lose you, he's like, let me try to give you something to fall on. So he sent me to Miami Lakes Technical School, and he made me get myself. He owned a dealer, an automotive shop, a body shop, and he was like, "Well, so in case anything happens, you could come. You could work with me." So he got me certified.
Is that like a Bo-Tech kind of a thing?
Yes, it's a technical school. So he was like, anything happens, you could work with me. The course was supposed to take, I think it was like 15 months. I did that shit like in 3 months, right? And then he was upset. He's like, oh. Because I've always loved to read. I've always loved like schoolwork. Like I've never been straight from school. I've always told people the reason why I like to go to school is because of girls, and the reason why I do my homework is because I don't want no pretty girl telling me I'm fucking stupid. So that was always my motivation. It was always girls. I don't know. It's fucking crazy.
Hey, dude.
So
pussy will make you do some crazy shit.
It's true. So I want to say like almost into my 4th month, I finished the whole course, and the guy was like, well, since you're saying, the same teacher was like, well, since you're saying he's having problems in school, maybe, how do you think about him graduating? He's like, well, he's in the honors class and he's in the scholastic program, but you never know. He's like, well, we can make him take the GED. If he graduates and he walks, the GED voids. And my father was like, okay, just in case. I fucking did that like in 2 weeks, right? They give you like a practice exam. And then they were like, well, because it was like, I think it was like at a 7th grade level, the GED at that time. And I'm fucking already in 11th grade. Like I've already passed. I've done all this shit. So I got my GED like within 2 weeks, right? And then they send me a letter like, oh, you've gotten the highest GED score in the world, right? And in the state of Florida. So I was like bragging to my father. I'm like, yo, look, I got the highest GED score. And he's like, nigga, you're fucking honor student. This is nothing to brag about. This is just in case you fall. So then he took me to Job Corps in Carroll City. And in Job Corps, this is all in Florida. Job Corps is in Carroll City, is in Dade County. Job Corps is like one of those government schools that does free trades and stuff like that. So he made me take a front desk. I don't want to
ask you a stupid question, but is Dade County the same as Miami-Dade County?
Yes. Dade County is the county where Miami, Kendall, there's a couple of cities in there. So
I always hear it as Miami-Dade County, and then and then I was looking on the Google Maps today, and I noticed there was a Dade City in the Tampa area.
I never knew
Dade
that.
City, not Dade County.
Right.
Yeah, I never knew that.
That's where I'm moving to.
Yeah.
So he made me take a front desk management course, right? That was supposed to take like 9 months. I did that like in 3 months. Then he was like, fuck, this motherfucker's like fucking killing all these fucking bullshit, right? So now I'm like fully mechanically certified. I had a GED, which I never fucking used. Then I already had like my front desk management course ready because, Florida has a lot of hotels. And he was like, yo, just in case. And, he was like trying to get me ready because he was like, yo, this motherfucker is living a double life. He's over here fucking lying to us. He's keeping his grades up. But on the other end, he's a fucking total delinquent. And then he was like, well, we have an accounting class. It's not an accounting class, but it's something there. You know, it'll teach them how to use calculators and type fast and shit like that. That wasn't like a degree. That was like a certification, right? Then right before I turned into a senior, we got a letter from the University of Miami for a scholarship from the Scholastics program. So he kind of breathed off. But I was already like working with him, right? And then when I finished school, DuPont, New York gave me a call, and they were like, oh, you know, they were calling my mom. A couple of places called my mom, but DuPont, New York was the one I was mostly interested in. So when I came here to work for DuPont in engineering, I met a Jewish guy, right? And he's like, oh, I have a friend. He's looking for a part-time, because I was looking also for a part-time. He's like, what else can you do? I'm like, yo, I'm a hell of a technician. I've been working and turning renters for a long time. I know how to diagnose and do all this shit. I'm fully certified, blah, 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 blah. Because I used to, you know. He's like, oh, you know, he needs somebody over there on the weekends. Maybe you could talk to him. And I was like, all right, no problem. I go see him. And, you know, like within a month, he's like, yo, you want to come into the office? I used to run my father's shop, so I kind of knew the whole shit. I'm like, sure, no problem. It was in my resume also, not as a job, but as something I was doing with my father for a long time. And he, you know, he's a man with sons, with kids. So he's like, I guess he understood. He brought me into the office. And then like within 6 months, he's like, yo, how much you making over there? I was like, da-da-da. He's like, maybe you should come work with me full time, and I want to show you something. So I was like kind of finagly, you know, but within the weekend job time that I was there, he was showing me a couple of stuffs, you know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, so you really don't have an automotive shop. This is just your facility in case you got to bring something here. So I'm like, I was always questioning myself. I'm like, yo, why don't I ever see these customers? Why do these customers always pick up the cars on Mondays during the weekdays? It's because he has them prepped for them already. Like if you do, let's say like refrigerator, you know what I mean? Refrigeration, and you have like a fleet, right? And your fleet is not passing inspection or having any issues. He'll make sure, because he was dealing a lot with DOT. So like school buses, ambulances, and shit like that. So I'm like, damn, I kind of never saw none of these people, but I was meeting a bunch of his, what I thought were his friends, but they really weren't his friends. They were just like owners to like ambulance companies, like Citywide and school bus companies. So once I started like feeling more comfortable, I was like, well, you know, the engineering shit ain't really like doing nothing for me anymore. He's going to pay me more than me, you know, come over here and be his, because that's really what he was asking for, an assistant. His English is good, but his English isn't great. So when I'm working with him, you know what I mean? Like within 2 years, he's like, well, it's time for you to like take off. I'm like, you're firing me? I thought we was cool. He's like, no. He's like, by now you should know how to do all this shit, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous. He's like, so just buy your first contract. So I went online, I bought my first contract, and he's like, now do it. You know what I mean? And I did it. And here we fucking are. Huh?
He threw you into the water.
Yeah, basically. And then I even asked him, I see him all the time. I even asked even the guys where he works at, they're like, yo, you're his fucking son. I even asked him, I'm like, yo, why did you like teach me how to do this? He's like, yo, you speak well. He's like, you're intelligent. He's like, and I've seen a lot of people come through here and nobody grasp as fast as you do. He's like, you grasp extremely fast. He's like, this is your world, you know. And I'm like, and then it became easy for me, you know, like I was like, all right, I need a certification to do planes. Then I'll just go, you know, it takes 2 years. I did it in 8 months. It was easy because I could just, I don't have a problem with it, you know. So that is
the ultimate I've learned like throughout my years so far. That's the best way to teach somebody how to do it, is throw them in there and see what they're capable of. That, you know, like my old boss, when I used to do construction, right, he used to bring me to a job back when I didn't know much, and he would tell me what to do, and he would walk away and say, impress me. You know what I mean? And that's how you learn shit. That's how you learn shit. And if you fuck up a little bit, you learn from that fuck up, and you won't do it next time. It's that simple.
I think I was lucky though.
It's sometimes it's luck, but then again, it's also, you know, you have drive, you have ambition, you know, you don't want to fucking sit on your ass and do nothing.
Well, not because of that, but I feel because like the people around me. You see, like my father having businesses, I've met a lot of different type of people, and I've never had, like I said before, I've never had anybody who's like literally hated me before. Everybody was always like, "Oh, Martin, oh, Blue, come here!" Like they were always happy to see me. You know what I mean? They were never mad to see me. There was never no issue. So I never like really had that problem. Even when I go to places, I never have problems with like the owners. I always have problems with like the low level employees. And I understand. Like I walk into the place and the owner's like, "Oh my God, when can you come and run my business? You want to come and work for me?" Like I get it. You know what I mean? It puts your job in perspective. But I'm not here for your job. We just know each other for like 10 years, so I understand. You just got here 2 years ago. It's not the same friendship. You know, I get them. I bail them out a lot. You know, a lot of these school buses, they're supposed to meet DOT, and DOT doesn't want to hear shit. DOT comes and inspects them and fails them. So, you know, before that, I bring my team. I inspect the vehicle. I tell them, "Look, this is good." Just and show them, "No, this isn't good. This one is missing stickers," or some shit like that. It's always some minute shit. But that's my job. I make sure that those vehicles stay on the road. If I don't make sure that the school buses or the ambulances or the fucking, then there's no point. We'll be fucking sucking up fumes all the fucking time.
Right.
You know? And I mean, it just worked out for me. I can't complain. It's hard. It's a headache, but I love the headache.
As long as you enjoy what you do, that's all that matters. Be a fucking pen.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, we got to get Justin on the podcast.
Where'd he go?
Okay.
He was having mic problems.
So then talk to him. You got his number? He just has to find time. He's a busy guy. He's constantly building chicken coops and shit.
He's got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
What a great guy,
Yeah.
though. He's like a real man's man.
Oh, yeah. He's the best. Why we get along.
Static froze up on us.
Uh-oh.
So, shit. But,
Yeah, man. We stretched this one to 1:40. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Maybe we'll call it a day right here.
I'm ready, bro.
All right. Juiceheads, thank you for being with us, and
Yes, indeedy. We'll see you next time.
we'll catch you again shortly.
Yes, indeed.
All right, I'm going to end the broadcast. No glove, no love.
Yes,
Nope.
sir.
No ink, no love. That's my new